Hey, welcome back. This is Keisha, and I've got some makeup for us to make sense of. Thought I'd hop on here Friday at the end of a very long and interesting week where, well, I mean, I've been quarantined working from home, and mollified the urge to go out and shop by picking up some things on sale, which, you know, in the chronicles that I'm sharing, there's a video that we're missing. That's the one from last week where I talked about all the sales that were coming up that were just finally so interesting. That video hasn't gone up because it requires quite a bit of editing that I don't know how to do yet. And so I put it off. But then all these packages that I did order, they started coming in this week. So now I've got these things to look at. So I want to start with, I think, let's start with the first one, Tula. This was some sunscreen. I normally go for the Pharmacy Green Defense. I think I've bought that once or twice or two times now, and I was ready for my third re-up. And just as I was about to commit to that, I saw the ad for Tula on on Instagram, and they looked kind of interesting. The one thing that kind of teed me off about them though was that before the release of the sunscreen, there was all this promo energy about it, but they wouldn't tell you the price. And I'm like, well, you can be coy if you want to, but at some point somebody's got to buy it, so they're going to find out the price. Why not tell people that ahead of time? Turns out it wasn't anything more than what I would normally pay for. I mean, Green Defense from Pharmacy is $36. So is this. Ordering it online, and I think because it was my first order, I got some 10 or 15% off. And so even with shipping, it still ended up being about $36. So, and then tax. So not any different than what I would have paid had I gotten it in the store. It came in a couple of days ago. I opened it, but I haven't had a chance to use it. Not just because I don't go outside, but because I've just been too busy to really open it. One thing that I read about that really had me excited for, I'm going to go ahead and put a little on now just to try it, is that it's not just sunscreen protection, but it's also blue screen protection. And since I do sit in front of a screen for 40, 50 hours a week, I thought maybe that would be a good thing to have. It's also raves about not having a white cast, which I'm not even hearing anything about at this point. And Pharmacy, I will tell you, is a fantastic sunscreen. Not only does it disappear into the skin, if I decide to wear makeup, it never shows itself and it doesn't make my skin extra oily, and I have my own oils to boot anyway. So, yeah, I wasn't necessarily thinking that I needed something better than Pharmacy, but I was willing to try something other than Pharmacy. This, for me, rubbing it in the first time, it feels pretty good. Not too oily or greasy, although it does have a little bit of shine. Does not have the white cast. But the thing about sunscreen, and I think people judge them a little too quickly, they put them on and right away they're like, oh, I see a white cast and so I can't use it. You need to give your sunscreen a minute or two to absorb into the skin before you really make that decision. So even though I just put this on, and yes, it was feeling a little and looking a little shiny and oily, I'm going to abide by my own learning here and just give it a minute before I make a decision about it. So we'll move on to something else. That's something else. So Fenty finally got me. Oh, I will say I have two other products from them. I have the Pro Filter concealer, as well as one of the finishing powder. I think it's a nutmeg. I do love both of those, and I've been happy with them for the last, I don't know, 8 months or a year that I've had it. I had looked at the matchsticks because I thought they looked cool. When I swatched them one day in store, Yacht Life was the one that really spoke to me. And I tried the kilowatt highlighters that everybody raved about, Trophy Wife especially. And when I looked at Trophy Wife Pro, it was probably a year, maybe a little bit, a year or so ago. It was too bright and I didn't really care for it. But then again, at that time, I didn't really use highlighters. I wasn't as adventurous in my makeup choices. So, I was easy to let that slide. And then a couple weeks ago, they were sending out all these sales because I get all the little alerts. And it was get the Trophy Wife highlighter for $5 if you made a $25 purchase. Well, the matchsticks were $25, and I'd wanted one for quite some time. Keep in mind that when I swatched them all, the one I really liked, the one I really wanted was Yacht Life. So is that what I chose? Hell no, because when I looked at the pictures again, it seemed like Cognac was probably the better choice for my skin. So that's what I went with. For any of you who don't know, let me just give you a secret that I've learned from years of retail. Whatever you are drawn to first is the one that you like the best. Go with that one. There's less opportunity for disappointment. When you start to second guess and wonder, oh, maybe I should do, no, go back to your first choice. And the reason I say that yet again, to myself and to you, is that I went ahead and got Cognac, and I got the Trophy Wife. We'll come to Trophy Wife in a second. Cognac, it's beautiful. It's a lovely, deep, rich, warm brown. When I put it on the skin, it's got a little bit of a shine, a little bit of red, a little bit of orange. It is, in fact, quite pretty, especially like, when I look at it on my hand and whatnot. When I go to put it on my face, and I did that earlier and then wiped it off, which is an indication that I wasn't too happy with it. The reason I wiped it off is because it looked more like a bronzer on me, and it made my skin look sun flushed, which was beautiful. I mean, that's a good thing, especially since I'm not getting any. But it wasn't the punch of pink and like liveliness that I was looking for. It also made me think of the bronzer that I do have, and I only have the one because I don't really, I'm still fairly new to makeup and don't really, have that many or go for that many. But the one bronzer I have is from Becca, and I've had it for probably a year, and I have loved it. And the color seems fairly similar. I'm trying to swatch it now on my hands, and I will tell you that when you look at the Becca bronzer, this is it Maui Nights? Yeah, Maui Nights. When I swatch it on my hand, coloring is very similar to Cognac, though Cognac this is Cognac here, and then Maui, you can kind of see it here. Coloring is similar, but Cognac has a little bit more orange, and it's a punchier sheen. And so going to put it on my face, they're pretty much the same color. This is more of a powder and a little more subtle. This shows up just a little bit more. But again, it looked like I was only sun flushed, just in this area on my cheek. And I brought it up a little bit into my temple just because I wanted to spread it around a little bit more. So it's cool. I mean, I will probably figure out a way to make use of it. One thing that I had thought about was maybe I'd like it as a lipstick because, just because, it's meant for the cheeks doesn't mean it's meant only for the cheeks. And what I'm wiping off, I'm going to talk to you about in a minute anyway. So I thought I'd try it as a lipstick to see if I like it. I normally do not go for metallic lipsticks because I wasn't raised that way. So let me just see if I like that any better. Feels good. It looks okay. Kind of shows up all the texture of my cracked lips, but my lips are cracked because, well, we're going to get to that reason in a minute. On camera, it's kind of sexy. I kind of like it. Maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. We'll see. The other thing that's interesting about the matchsticks, this is what it looks like in tube. And if you get more than one of them, there's actually a magnetic strip in the side of it, so they all clump together. This color bronze is lovely, and I do like it. There's also this from NYX. And I picked these up, I think last summer. They were on sale at Target for maybe like $2-3. Maybe they're $7 regularly. And I've got one in a pink color with a little bit of shimmer, and then this bronze color, which is Sandy Glow. When I swatch it next to Cognac, I don't know if you can tell, but it is more of it's a brown. Texture and sheen is about the same, but it's more of a brown with yellow color as opposed to brown with that orange. So they're similar in texture and weight and how they glide on. The only real difference is the color and, of course, the price. So if you find the NYX ones, and I think they change colors every season, because I think before that, when I went back to look for the other colors, they were different. So they may be coming out, they may have come out with different ones this season as well. So, I mean, do you spend $25 on Fenty if you like it and want to spend that? Can you get by with the NYX if you find a color you like? Yeah. So there's that. And then the other part of that package, like I said, the Trophy Wife that everybody had raved about forever, and then those for whom it was too light complained. I mean, go figure. A beautiful green color. I don't know why I would think that a green highlight would look good on me, but for some reason I had been drawn to it. And because there had been so talked about, because I thought I was ready for the highlight, for this kind of highlight, I was into it. And I will say there's a promo picture of a beautiful dark skin model, and she's got it like, on her shoulders and like all over the side. And it looks really good, but I should not go buy a promo picture because, Fenty's promo picture is not necessarily my life. Whether or not I want it to be doesn't really matter. So yeah, the thing about this, and I put it on as a highlighter, honestly, the shit was too bright, a little too sparkly, and it immediately made me think of Gigabyte from Pat McGrath's Sublime, is it Sublime or Subliminal palette, which I happen to have. So it's this green right here. And honestly, I was kind of surprised, but when you swatch them, and I only had to like wipe my finger over, just like tap it over that Pat McGrath, you can see the vibrancy of that green there. Trophy Wife, same thing. And they are pretty much the same color. Trophy Wife's a little more yellow. Gigabyte maybe a little more green. But the level of shimmer and sparkle is really about the same. If I had known better, maybe swatched it in store, I probably would have been okay with Gigabyte. Like I said, it's a little bit darker, has a black base, whereas the Fenty, the Killawatt, has a slightly lighter base, so it looks a little green, more green yellow, whereas Gigabyte's rich olive green, leaning towards brown. One thing that I was looking forward to using the Fenty, the Trophy Wife for, though, was as an eyeshadow, not realizing, of course, that I already had this. And then one thing that I do still want to get, because I've been sweating it for over a year now, and it's just about time to do it, is the Give Me Glow Juicy Olive palette. I could see this being, in addition to those olive tones, which I really, really love. So I'm not saying I'm going to give it away or anything, but it's just going to require a little more time and thought for me to work it into my collection and work it into rotation and figure out how to best use it for me. But I think I will, because, it looks kind of cool. Speaking of, living the life where you need a green highlight, the other thing that I picked up that finally got my attention, and the reason it got my attention, going back to what I had on my lips, I had been in Ulta one day and needed a lip balm. The one that I make is fine, but I couldn't find it, and I had not been using lip balm for a while. My lips were getting chapped, obviously. So I needed to spend like an extra $3 to get the sale price on something. So I'm like, what can I get? And there was a lip balm. It was Sun Bum, and it was cool. It smelled like coconut, pineapple, pina colada. I'm down with that. I love the way that it smelled, and I love the way that it felt. It didn't do shit for my lips in terms of keeping them from not being cracked. In fact, they felt worse because I was using it. Or they felt better when I put it on, but then after, like the next day or the next morning, my lips were back to being chapped and I was peeling my skin off again. Finally, I was like, enough with this. And I was also using a product from Whispering Willow, which, it's a nice lip balm, but it didn't have like the luxe factor, it didn't have like the production factor. And maybe I got a little swayed by that, even though it was moderately effective, but it didn't have the scent and it didn't feel as luxe and whatever. So when Sol de Janeiro sent me an email letting me know they were having this big sale, blah, 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 I was like, well, I need some lip balm. And they have where is it here? They have the Kapuasu butter lip balm. And I had seen it in Sephora and swatched it, tried it, and I rather liked it. I love the signature scent from Sol, which is the Cheirosa, the pistachio salted caramel. And this kind of had that feeling to it. So I was down with that, especially since one of the things I liked about the Sun Bum was that it had that beautiful scent. So I'm like, all right, finally, I'm going to make the plunge and get this. When you see it in store, it's $18. And I'm like, that's kind of a lot to pay for some lip balm, considering the fact that I make it and I've been happy with mine for over 15 years. But I did want something a little bit of a change. And I don't make lip balm in a stick. Mine is in a pot. So I kind of want something I could just put in my purse and not have to worry about touching, especially now that, touching things in your face is kind of like, is no bueno. So I was happy to get this finally, but not only did I get it on sale, it came as part of a little set. It was a Kiss Your Crush set. And so it came with the same normal size lip balm, as well as the Cheirosa mist. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to spend $18 anyway and get this, I might as well get this too. So together the set was a $25 value. And I will say, speaking of value, the package that I got from Sol de Janeiro was absolutely the bomb. Of all the things I bought probably ever, but certainly in the last few months, weeks or whatever, it was the best deal by far. Because not only did I get this, a $25 value for 18, which I was going to buy on just the lip balm. What else was in the package? There was, the Copacabana Bronze Glow Motion Glow Oil. I had seen this before. I had put a little on. Again, if I'm living that life, I thought it was cool. But the regular size, which was 75 milliliters, was $35. And I am not living $35 worth of product all summer. I'm just not doing that. But this was a travel size and it was 30 milliliters and it was only $19. And I'm like, you know what? I've wanted to try it for a while, so why don't I go ahead and get it? And again, it had that olivey, whoa, shit. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Well, okay. Well, let's just go ahead and put it on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. I just didn't know in what form this was going to take, so I didn't know I was going to be making a mess. We'll have to figure out a better way because I don't think I did that right. In fact, I didn't. I pulled the whole thing out when it actually has a pump. That makes much more sense. So, okay. And so let me just, well, yes, this is exactly the feel of summer that I wanted. It has that lovely salted caramel pistachio cheirosa scent that I love. And it's just a little bit of sheen. Not quite as green and olivey as I thought it was going to be, but it looks perfect on my skin, and I certainly like it. So yay. That is most definitely, oh my God, it smells so good. Okay, that is a win. And then what else was in the box? Because there was more. You got a free cheirosa perfume oil, which, standard tester size for perfume, but lovely all the same. I mean, even though all the other products smell like it, it's nice to just have it as a perfume. I think they sell this as a perfume, and it's, it's ridiculously overpriced. So we'll never be buying that. And then you also got the 25 milliliter Boom Boom Cream, which I love this stuff. And I have bought it in the, whatever the $20 size is. I'm probably never going to spend $45 on the big one. That's just a bit too much. It will last forever, but you got to keep touching it. So I'd rather get a smaller one and go through a little more quickly. But if you go into Sephora, it seems like it's a lot because they're $20 a piece. There's this and the Copacabana one, which has a more coconut gel. It's a coconut scent and then gel consistency. Some people don't like the gel consistency. I rather don't mind, and I love the way it smells. They're $20 a piece in that larger size. But if you get them on Sol's website, I believe you get the two of them for $25 or $35. I can't remember exactly, but it's a much better deal. So I'm very, very, very happy to have this back in my life, and it was free as part of the gift. So yeah, 5 things for the price that I was going to pay for 2. That was just a win, a win, a win, a win, a win. The last thing on my list, right here, piece de resistance. This little black box came from Pat McGrath. Me and Pat McGrath, I bought Decadence back when it first came out. Thought it was just the bomb diggity, but realized that I do not live a life where a palette full of high-end shimmers was really the thing, and ended up selling it for the same price I bought it for, so there was no loss there. This palette I did finally go back and get because I realized that it had all the shades that I do want. I really love Pat's black. I had swatched that a million times and was like, I always love a black eyeshadow that you can use as everything, and this one is it. The brown is so rich, and so everything about the Sublime, I think this was number 2. I absolutely loved, and I wanted this one and enjoy it more than I did the Decadence. The Subliminal, I don't know if I should call them whatever. The number 1, I liked when I swatched it, but it had a bunch of neutral taupes, and I wasn't that crazy about it. Interestingly enough, though, Makeup Revolution had a dupe for it, and when I swatched that, I loved it, Loved it so much, waited, finally bought it when it was on sale, and only to learn that it was actually the dupe for the Pat McGrath. So for whatever reason, Makeup Revolution for me did a better job on Mothership #1 than I found myself not so much in love with Pat's version. Anyway, back to this little package. This is actually, it's again, back with the sales that were like blowing up my phone. Finally got like, oh my goodness, finally got into one or agreed to one. It was, I think it was like 20% or 25% off, 20% off if you spent $100 up to 100, or 25% off if you spent more than that. I don't remember. Anyway, this is the Iconic Illumination, the Ritualistic Rose. I've been back and forth whether or not I wanted Divine Rose. I still don't know. I don't think I do, but maybe I do. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But Ritualistic Rose, I swatched it in store back when it first came out. I wasn't too impressed. But you know, again, I have grown, my makeup tastes have grown. And so when I saw the sale for it, I actually was in the market for it because I love my red and pink eyeshadows. And I love that the Iconic Illumination, or the Ritualistic Rose, was going to be the punchier and the shimmer and the special versions of these pink that would go well with my other pink and red shadows. So for that reason, I was like, okay, fine. And it was on sale, so I went ahead and got it. You know, this right here, it's lovely and cool, but truly it's a mess and unnecessary. I could do without that the next time they want to send me a package. Not that, I mean, I can control that by not buying from them, but seriously, I mean, it's kind of unnecessary. Because then you pull out the package in the bubble wrap and, you know. Anyway, well, you know, Pat McGrath has luxury packaging, and that's to be enjoyed, and I do. It's one of those string, like envelope type, unwrap and unwrap and unwrap and unwrap. And then when you do, you get the little package there. Lovely, sexy, nice little companion to the big boy here. So we have that now. Yay. Ooh. And then we have my 4 little shades. And I'm very happy to have this in my collection now. I'll go and swatch them real quick just so you can see. And I don't know the names of the shades, and oh, this is the brown. I'll look at that in just a second. And then here's the lovely pink. Huh, very subtle. Lovely as a topper, but I could see brushing that all over the lid on the days when I want to be subtle but present. Ooh, I like that. That's a duochrome with lots of shimmer. Similar to Gigabyte, but a little different. And then, what's the last one? Oh, this gold color. Don't usually think I'd go for gold, but I can see that as a topper, and I kind of like it. So let me put my... Can you see what I have done there with those swatches? Very subtle. I didn't like press into them too hard, but I don't really need to. I mean, well, I mean, you can see them online, and I guess now you can see them on me. I like them. I think they'll be great as a topper, and I think as I actually dig into them with my brushes, they'll be fantastic. Just because I happen to have something else here to compare it to, and Pat doesn't put the names on these, so like I said, I think this is Gigabyte, and this is Night Creature, and I think Night Creature might be similar to, and I thought there was a little card in there, and maybe it is. Oh, wait, you know what? Here it is. So the color that I think Night Creature is most like is Rose Quartz 005. And so we're going to swatch that real quick, and I'll swatch it next too. So this is Rose Quartz 005, and then here is Night Creature. Or wait, I didn't pick anything up. There it is. Huh. They are similar. Night Creature is a little more violet. I don't know if you can really see that. We'll have to work on swatches, but you all give me a little bit of grace, right? This is my 3rd makeup video. Yeah, it's similar. It's a little more violet and purple when I look at it. A little more concentration of pigment, whereas the Ritualistic Rose seems more like a topper. So yeah, I can see playing with both and coming up with some looks that would be cool with that. And I really like the, is it Ritualistic Bronze? Or, no, Beyond Bronze. Beyond Bronze, I think, is a nice complement to some of the other colors here in my larger palette. So, um, yeah, very similar and close, but different. And I think, well, I mean, I like these colors. I don't feel like they're duplicates or too close that I'm disappointed. I'm happy to have it, and I'm glad that I got to share it with you. And I think that brings us to the end of this little odyssey. You all can tell me what you think, if you want. And we'll see what happens the next time I do a video. Who knows when that's going to be, but and I'll work on maybe some editing in the meantime. All right, my friends, it's been fun. We'll be back. We'll do it again. Good night.